Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour. Welcome everybody to the Album Concept Hour. We are here another week to talk about another amazing concept album. This week is no exception. We're going to be covering Masta Ace's Disposable Arts from 2001. I am your host, Proud the Baron, as I always am. And we will also have the co-hosts John and Dave here very soon, but they are on their way. But I do have somebody here, someone very special that has been on side B. Oh, Dave's here. That has been on side B a couple of times. We did a similar project during the pandemic. Well, not similar, but we both did projects about Sufjan Stevens.
As you do during the pandemic, yes.
As one does. A lot of people were trying to unravel that whole thing. So we crossed paths, had him on side B a few times, and this is finally our first time having him on side A. His one of his most recent credits is he was involved in creating Spirit Rangers, which was on Netflix. There's season 1 is still out there. Go check it out. This is Joey Clift. Welcome to the podcast.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks so much for having me. It's so great to be on to talk about an album that I didn't produce 50 of. Thanks for having me back. And honestly, I really love this album, and I'm a really big fan of Masta Ace. So I'm very excited to. Masta Ace is a niche enough musician that there aren't a lot of points in my life where I can just be like, Masta Ace is cool, and expect other people to know what that is. Yeah. So just the opportunity to talk about Masta Ace with y'all is something I'm excited about.
It's not one of those artists that is just, it's not on the conversational. I mean, it is in a few articles if you look him up, but I found him an article talking just about concept albums. It just had a list of concept albums and that was on there. Again, I never dived into it until sometimes I don't listen to him until the guest picks the album. So this was it's fresh on the mind for me, and man, this is a stellar rap concept album. So
and he was Masta Ace he was somebody that was when I was in college, I was a really big fan of old school hip hop. So, your Run DMCs, your Cold Crush Brothers, and etc. Yeah. And Masta Ace is a guy that I think was just kind of not on my radar, even within my weird obsession with old school hip hop, reading encyclopedias about the first 5 years of hip hop and just biographies about so many characters from that era. And I learned about him there was a Seattle based hip hop group that did an EP release show. And it was probably one of my first times going to what I would say would be kind of an indie concert where it's this isn't, a big show at the Key Arena in Seattle. This is a smaller club in Seattle. Yes. Yeah. And it was the EP release show for this really great Seattle based hip hop group called the Blue Scholars. And they had Masta Ace as I think kind of the co-headliner on their EP release show. Yeah. And like I mentioned, I never really heard of him before that, but he came on and he was just so good. And it was clear everybody that was on the show other than Masta Ace, even the headliners, the Blue Scholars, were talking about I can't believe we got this legend on this show. And he just really blew me away as a performer, a lyricist, and just a really great artist as a rapper. And that kind of caused me to kind of dig into a little more and realizing that guy was in the Juice Crew, which feuded with Boogie Down Productions, and the song South Bronx, which was which was one of the Boogie Down Productions big diss tracks, was a diss track against the Juice Crew, which Masta Ace, the Symphony, which was the Juice Crew's big track, was his really big first opportunity as a musician, which was in 1988 or something like that. So when I saw him in 2006, he was 40. Yeah. And this was, a few years after Disposable Arts came out. And it's just I don't know, since then, he's just been a guy that I've really kind of respected as somebody that has accomplished a lot in the rap industry and done a lot of really cool work and made a lot of really cool music. And he was in the top 40 track, and he was in the top 100 for the Billboard charts, in the 90s, but like he's been kind of a little bit more of a like hugely respected, but like a kind of niche within hip hop fans guy for the past little bit. Yeah. And he's just a guy that like, I don't know. It's like any opportunity he gets his flowers, I'm just like, yeah, that guy deserves it because he's great.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I just want to say like there's looking at this album and the context of the other like rap concept albums that we've covered on the podcast. I noticed this is the first time I noticed the trend. We have Prince Among Thieves, which is from Prince Paul from 1999. Really, really well-rounded concept album. The Handsome Boys Modeling School in 2000. We have Deltron 30 in 2000. And
such
then
a great album.
I Phantom for Mr. Liff is another one we covered, which is a similar kind of space. But one thing that I guess maybe besides Handsome Boys Modeling School they have in common is none of these were chart-topping albums. None of these were like stuff that like labels were excited about.
No.
A lot of them got buried and they've become like these kind
legends
of underground legends of the, kind of, I don't know, later 90s, early 2000s hip hop situation.
They've all became like, have you not heard of this album? You need to listen to this album. That's all they've become.
Yeah.
It's
like they're all
before.
Such well-crafted stories, and like it's just there's just something in like these 3 years, like 99 through like 2002, there's a lot of these just amazing rap concept albums. So it's just something that I've just noticed with this album because I'm like, oh look, 2001, it falls right in the same period. Right. Someone needs to make like a in-depth like YouTube video about this. I don't have the time. But
I was gonna say, I'm glad you touched on those because so this is the first time early today I did the listen through.
There we go. Might as well unmute your mic.
Oh,
yeah. That would
am
help.
I unmute now?
You are unmuted now.
Oh, thank
yes.
God.
I think we were hearing you through my mic. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm here now.
Like, he's so quiet today.
He's very just hands up,
wow,
making emotions.
You must really like Masta Ace if you'll only talk about him in hushed tones.
Yes,
indeed.
Only.
But doing my listen through tonight, earlier today, I never listened to Masta Ace and actually never heard of him. And the first things I thought of was like Handsome Boy, Deltron. Like it had that same feel, like not just the skits, but the flow. Like not every track felt like they weren't the same, but they were kind of chopped up like Handsome Boy. Like you had like different moods. Like I really like after like the first 5 seconds, I'm like I think I'm gonna like this, and then it just kept progressing like track after track. I'm like, no, I love this album. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
this is exactly the style that I want more of. These are the albums I want to listen to multiple times and just enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah. These are the picks that like when I don't know at all that I'm going to love it, and then it hits I listen to it and it's like, wow, this is an instant classic. Like, oh man, those are my favorite
so good. I can't wait to
album episodes, But yeah, speaking of which, we should get into it. We have this again, all these rap albums have a usually a very long track list. So we have 24 tracks to get to, although I've connected a few of them like I try to do in this case. We start our story with our hero Masta Ace getting out of jail. He's in this story he's been in jail for 5 years, I believe. And he's being walked out by this Irish policeman. So here we go.
Jesus, what's with the clothes? Man, fuck you. You don't know nothing about this. 95, 96, this was the shit. Crazy?
Well, my boy, in case nobody told you, it's 2001. Here, give my brother-in-law a call when you get home. He owns a bunch of stores in the 5 boroughs. They sell all that food by Sean Jean, Pratt Farm, all that stuff you people wear.
Man, fuck you, you people.
That was the release, the prologue kind of this album.
Some like fun facts about this. I think the one he's referring to 5 years, this was his first album that he came out with since 1995. So there's about a 5-6 year gap between albums from his previous album, Sitting on Chrome, came out in 1995.
Yeah, big gap.
And I think that he definitely had like a few deals with like switching to different record labels and kind of like, my guess is it's kind of like the music version of development hell, where it's just like, oh, he was just like working on a lot of different stuff, but this was his first like release that like was, able to be seen by the public and listened to by the public in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. He his last album did have a single that charted, but he was not. He kind of fell to the background into the production part of things for a little while, and then from what I understand, when he tried to finally get back into it, he had this. He created this thing, and then none of the big labels wanted to touch it. So, which is part of the reason it's called Disposable Art, I guess.
Which those fools, how dare they not touch this great album?
Yeah. Well, they didn't seem to have respected any of the rap concept albums, apparently.
What I think it's like, and I think this is kind of like Masta Ace's career a little bit, and he's somebody that I think, to his fault, never really wants to chase trends. And it's something that he talks about a little bit in his song Story of Me, which I strongly recommend, and it's really great. It's not on this album, but it's just a great song. And it's just, he's somebody that like, when gangster rap was popular, he just like pushed against him, was like, I don't really want to do that. And I think that probably kind of put him in a spot where it's like, he was like tough to really market to like what was hot in rap music in 1999 or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. That was when they were kind of developing the like, the consumer model of rap.
Yeah, that was like Puff Daddy, P Diddy, that was kind of like those guys. And like, that's just, Masta Ace is great, but he's just not that.
No.
Yeah. And that is like, that's the story for a lot of these, a boom bop is like the style of rap. And, I did a rap podcast for a little while called Pick Apart the Passion, where I had, a couple guys that were from that rap time, and that's, for ill or for good, like that's what they stuck with. That's like, whether they got popular because of it or not, like it's a style that a lot of people still stick with, although, it's not what's hot and what's in the,
but it's so
on
good.
The TikToks necessarily, But
so Masta Ace, real stubborn is what we've established.
Yeah. A lot of artists
I'm gonna do it this way.
He did it his way, like Frank Sinatra, right?
Yeah.
So I love I don't know why they chose to have an Irish dude be the police officer, but what I like about it is it gives you kind of a feeling of like old-timey New York for a second.
Yeah.
At least for me. I was like thinking of Gangs of New York or something.
It just felt like home for me, but
Yeah,
that's my question if I talk to Masta Ace is this canon in the Gangs of New York universe?
right.
Just like this place takes place in like 1905 New York, right?
Yeah. Just think about that. Listeners, think about that as you're listening to the rest of this album. This is 1905 New York City, and they have top hats and
is there a guy with an axe
things.
or what did the butcher guy have? Is Daniel Day-Lewis in this?
I think so.
He had the
mostly
the cleavers because he actually was the butcher. So he used
Yeah.
there's scenes where I'm like chopping up like animals.
Yeah, I just know that he drinks the milkshake of Paul Dano.
No,
And
wrong
it's-
movie.
Is that It's a different one?
Well, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay. Wait. Which one is that? Do I have these two movies squashed
you do.
together in my
I
head?
think your milkshake
God damn
is
it.
there will be blood.
Those are two different movies. You're right.
I mean, look, all of Daniel Day-Lewis's movies kind of, I don't know. It's like he was Lincoln while he was also a tailor with Phantom Thread. I don't know.
Yeah. Who really knows what's going on with that guy? We got another track for you guys for this. After he's released, we have this track with Apocalypse, and I don't have any notes about the themes here. Here's too long.
Shit like they bought stock and y'all let them move in and take over the block. I heard y'all be out there spinning dubs with them, out all night long, going to clubs with them. Guess that's what I get for having a kind heart. The days when they life end and
sometimes
mine start.
Waking up is even kind of scary. Some foul deeds I find necessary, like the Christ and the Judas theory. I feel a hurt and scream loud, but nobody hears me. My broken body bleeds heavy, plus my mind is weary.
Yeah, VLC just had an update. messing with me. Yeah, it's too long.
That's great. Yeah, it's. I mean, they just jumps you right into the album of like this is just Masta Ace being a very good rapper with very good production behind him,
and bringing very good rappers in to help him out as well. Like, there's some really insane verses from rappers I've never heard of. So it's like it's almost like it's from a different world.
That's why this album reminded me so much of Handsome Boy, where production was just top notch, but like all like the singers, the rappers were just on every track were so they fit the song so perfectly well.
That's the thing. There's almost no song where something like really feels like it's out of place.
No,
like it doesn't. Like it feels all very, very it's all
thought out very, very well.
Yeah. I do like this line that Apocalypse mentions here. Sometimes waking up is even kind of scary. Some foul deeds I find necessary, like Christ and the Judas theory. I feel hurt and scream out loud, but no one hears me. My broken body bleeds heavy, plus my mind is weary. So the Christ and Judas theory is, if you've never heard of it, it's the idea that Judas knew all, like Judas and Jesus were like talking about this all along, and it was like kind of a group effort, the crucifixion and all that, and kind of making that allegory that the situation he's describing is kind of a similar situation. It's like there's a bad that happens that sometimes is part of the plan or whatever. But yeah, I'm a Bible nerd, so
Masta Ace real bitter about all the record stuff that didn't work out from 95 to 2001.
Yeah, he had some hardships. Also some beef, as you talked about a little bit before. There was we'll get to it, but there was a rap battle with him and Boogeyman. That was, I don't know. We'll get to Boogeyman. It was a hard time for Masta Ace. And you are hearing, that's John, by the way. John is on the mic. John, Joey, John.
Hi.
And
nice to meet you.
We have another track. Let's just go to another track. We have this third one is called Block Episode.
Next, my chest was shocked, IV, oxygen mask, bleeding heavily, we need to get to the hospital fast, I'm doing 70, why I gotta be a casualty of war, did good most my life, my career was growing gradually and more, hearing, hold on, you'll be alright, you're gonna make it, sirens, up ahead, construction on the pavement, slow down from this moment, I didn't have a chance, seeing hazards flash, can't believe I died in the traffic jam.
What I really like about Masta Ace and this track kind of these two tracks together kind of remind me of this is like it's kind of like Gangstar, like the rap group with Guru and Premier. Yeah. And it just feels like, and I mean that in terms of sound, but also in terms of quality, where you can just kind of like listen to a Gangstar album and you're not necessarily picking out like one song over another song. It's just like sweet vibes for an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, I think that this, like I would put these two tracks as like right up there with just like great Gangstar, where it just where it's just sort of like the vibe and the feel of what he's setting is just great,
This was released in like 2001, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like, so this is really just like there was a nice little like, rap R&B, just like time to be alive. It was a nice time.
That's true. Yeah. It was there's like a warmness
Black Star
to it
at the time.
Black Star, yeah. A lot of really just that's the best way I can think of it. Is just
some
like
of the early stuff from never mind.
But yeah, no, it feels like a warm hug or something. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just our age or if it has that power to it, you know what I mean? But I will say with this track, it's kind of a misdirect, I think, this part of the story, because if you've heard, I don't know, we did Prince Among Thieves, which is from '99, that was a few years earlier, and that is kind of built around this shooting that takes place that is kind of explained over the album. So when I've heard this track, I was like, oh man, they're starting with some really tragic stuff for the main character already. I thought that maybe I saw where it was going, but I totally didn't, you know what I mean? Because it dwells on that for a second, but it moves on to what, Masta Ace is, trying to get in his life, you know what I mean? It's a real, important slice of life track that every good rap album needs. And I like that. I like the kind of twist with this verse that I chose, where he's, he got shot and he's in an ambulance and he's describing what he's going through. But then at the end, he realizes as they're going through the city that hitting a red light is literally going to be the death of him. And he has to accept that, it's really it's very bleak, that verse. I haven't heard it done quite from that perspective in that way before, I guess.
Well, what we'll get into in a second, I'm sure, with the next track is if this album is a movie, this is the cold open. And our next track is going to basically be the moment that propels us into act one of he, sees something that forces him to change his life into a different direction. And then we live with that for however long. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is part of what, we'll get into it. So this is track 4 and 5. I've combined the two. So this is going to be the end of the commercial into the beginning of Don't Understand. It gets into kind of what you're talking about.
Motown, Universal, Warner Brothers, Arista, and Columbia Records, to name a few. IDA. If you qualify, financial aid is available. IDA. Why waste another minute of your life? Get your freak on, biatch. Enroll at IDA today. IDA. Your future is now.
And I don't understand.
Yes, you are now rocking with the best. I don't do white music, I don't do black music. I make rap music for hip-hop kids. Y'all know what it is when I get biz with this. Flows that's hard enough, you can hit your kids with this. Thugs walk through Queensbridge with this. Italian cats drive through Bay Ridge with this. Pumping in they I-Rock, your block to my block. I make hits like Chuck Knobloch, but don't make no error or get it confused.
That line, I don't make white music, I don't make black music, I make rap music, is just if you have a thesis of what Masta Ace is as an artist, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He doesn't want to be put in a box like that.
Yeah. He just makes good music.
He doesn't want to have the caveat he's the best black producer, or because that's usually
the best producer.
He wants to be the best producer, and rapper,
And I gotta say, shout out to Idea Commercial. I feel rap skits, skits on rap albums, oftentimes, I don't know, rightfully so, get some flack for just kind of being, something that's loose, kind of unwritten, something that's sort of a time filler on the album.
And a little improv-y,
It's just I'm sure everybody in that rap group had a lot of fun in the booth that hour. But what I really love about Idea Commercial, and something that I think propagates just throughout the whole album, is the effort that went into producing these skits. It's just this feels like a commercial for a college in a real way, not in a friends goofing around in the booth kind of way. Yeah. And it's clear that he wrote this with the idea of this is hitting this narrative beat while also having jokes in it and being entertaining. And I think that speaks to just Masta Ace. And what I really like about him as a performer is this is 13 years into his career. He'd had a ton of success before this.
Yeah.
And he could have phoned this in, but he didn't. He came out with just like full steam ahead, wanting to make like a really good piece of art. And it's like even in the rap skits, which are usually kind of skippable in a lot of rap albums, it's like the work that went into it in just the production, but also the narrative of it is just cool.
Well, those have been some of my favorite albums that we've covered in the podcast, because like concept albums always, like a lot of times, have these little, story beats like that. And like, again, not a lot of them will take the time and give you the whole, like the room tone and the background noise and the whole, he does the whole production
or help
of
carry
the
track to
soundscape.
track, like give them the next little like lift, like there we go. Here's this, they keep the energy going. It's not just some like a weird off joke. Like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah,
that could be a skip track.
Because there's, again, like you were saying, so there's some skits where like you can like hear you can hear everything going on in the room. You can hear people giggling, like Wu-Tang, you can always hear someone
like
giggling in the background, which is fine.
I love Wu-Tang, but it's like, oh, you probably didn't need this album on this track on the album.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do, again, I'm with you 100%. Torture, dude. That's
or like some of the skits when we listen to
Operation Mindcrime.
That too.
That one had really, really good production for in between. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say not Wu-Tang Clan. When we listened to
was it Prince Paul?
No, from '92.
The Fugees.
Fugees, thank you. Yep.
Oh yeah.
My brain is not working. Remember, there were some skits on there that were like
they were pretty good. Yeah,
they weren't really like part of the thing, but they were
you're talking about. Oh wait, no. I think I remember which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Specifically which one.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
In particular, I mean, there were a couple.
There's one
they
could have left
There's
off.
one they could have left off. But.
Yeah. Re-listen to that episode, by the way. If you're listening, you're confused, go re-listen to the Fugees episode. It's a lot of fun. But we're gonna get on to. Oh wait, we should talk about this hype song a little bit though, or this rap song a little bit.
Sister
for
Sledge
me,
and the Real Rocks.
I was enjoying this album a lot, but then this track hit, and I was like, oh, like he's deep and introspective, and he can make like a fucking banger too. So like, yeah. So he's like the whole package, So yeah. This is the point in the album where I'm like, oh, we might have something special here, But yeah, let's get into the next track though. This is Goodbye Lisa.
Packing for what?
That school I was telling you about, the one upstate.
Yeah.
Well, I enrolled. I'm out tomorrow.
What? You just got home. Why you gonna do some dumb shit like that?
Yo, I can't stay around here no more, man. Every day something's happening. Somebody else got murdered last night.
Yeah, I heard, but I'm saying, you bouncing for who knows how long for some shit that ain't even making you no money?
Yeah, so he's not getting too much support for what he's trying to do, but
yeah, it's just a good story beat.
Yeah. And it sets up like why he's leaving, the motivation, like it sets up a little bit of conflict. Like, yeah, you're right. From a storytelling perspective, this is a pretty like
it gets you in the right
consistent
mindset
album.
for like the track. Like again, all these skits are just like a little a teaser.
Yeah.
And then like, all right, and then you get into the song like
yeah,
perfect. Like it just like it sets it up like it just tees up so perfect. Like you get in the skit to track works amazingly.
Yeah. They always they generally connect.
Yes,
with the track.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I feel like oftentimes skits I would say skits in any musical album make the album less good, but I feel like it's just like Masta did such a good job of like the skits actually make me like the songs better.
Exactly.
And I think that there's also just like cool stuff going on of like, I feel like oftentimes when you get like skits in, rap albums or, other albums or whatever, it's just kind of like non-committal. Like, isn't it funny we're talking instead of rapping or singing or whatever?
Yeah.
Whereas like, no, these are like very committed. He got like, everybody really tried to like tell a really coherent and cool story. And it's just like everybody gave a shit in like a really cool way,
Yeah. You can really feel that. That kind of mutual respect in the room between people. Yeah, speaking of which, let's get to this next track, Hold You, which is conceptually one of my favorite tracks, I think, because there's a really cool way that you can look at this song. But here's Hold You.
I know you see me chilling with fake players who tried to grab me in the club and dance with me on the stage in Gators. They say you just hating, you jelly off the money that they making. Peep the strip of broads, thugs and guards and punks, cats who front. Get me high with all the smoke from the blunts. It's not love, it's just lust. They always put me down when shit gets rough. I can't do it alone, I need someone to hold me right. Tell me their feelings, speak honest to their boys, that's why we dealing.
So first of all, before I talk about this theory for the song, I definitely have to give it out to Rap Pipe Addict from Genius.com. He's the one that gave this suggestion. But he said that if you look at this song, like the man talking is, Ace, but the woman singing at the end is the microphone itself speaking to Masta Ace. And if you look at it through that lens, it like really, really fits, So, yeah, again, random guy on the internet, Rap Pipe Addict. Thank you. This made me appreciate the song a little more.
That's a different view altogether now.
Yeah. Because look at, I'll pull up, you can really see it like in Masta Ace's part. It really mostly seems like, an average, relationship, song verse. But then when Jean Grey is singing, where's the line here? You should have known from the way back I tried to amp you, tried to speak on your skills when other people felt me. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here we go. And there's still cats trying to touch me when they spot me alone, trying to tap me just to see if I'm turned on. But it's the way you speak to me. It's like we're on the same frequency. And when you hold me, you make me peak. Come on. So using, a lot of like audio terms to describe, how she's feeling about him, and yeah, I just like that whole idea because he did kind of have to fall in love with rap again, apparently. Like he was to some of his friends. I watched like half of there's a 2-hour documentary about this album actually on YouTube.
Oh, wow. I should watch that.
I found it like 45 minutes before we started doing this. So I was like, oh shit. But yeah, one of the things is like, he was really feeling kind of down in the dumps about his rap. Like he didn't think anyone wanted another album from him. But then he did a tour of Europe, randomly, did like 10 shows or something. And it completely like reignited his, love of the art and like, to see that there was so many people that were still appreciative of his work, he, it reinvigorated him. And, you can kind of see a little bit of that in, it felt like you were out of my league. Like it's, him kind of verbalizing that he, didn't feel like the rap game wanted him as much as he thought that it should. I don't know.
But I think that's something that's so, I guess like cool about Masta Ace is that like, though he has had like commercial success, I feel like he's somebody that has become very much just like a rapper's rapper. Like Eminem has name checked him as a major inspiration multiple times in songs,
Yeah.
So it's like and like I mentioned, it's like when I saw him, the first time that I saw him or even knew he existed was him co-headlining an EP release show of a Seattle-based band that I really liked. And like every group, like pretty much at the start and end of their set, we're like, it's crazy. We're playing a show with Masta Ace. He's a legend.
Yeah.
So he feels like somebody that like people like rappers and musicians and people in like the hip hop industry, like respect him. But I could also, and he is getting a lot of cool opportunities of like, he did his work in the States, but he also has done a lot of collaborations in Europe with just like random, rappers based out of Europe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, he is a guy that, though he's not necessarily like, in every viral TikTok as background music or whatever success is in the music industry now. He's a guy that like gets around and I think is like deeply respected in the industry.
Yeah, and that's good because there's so many that have, from that time that were talented that, just kind of get lost in the shuffle,
Yeah.
And yeah, this one, but yeah, it deserves every bit of its respect for sure.
And I'd like to thank Europe and their music fans for appreciating good music and keeping this man going.
Dude, seriously, like that's no joke. Like they've reinvigorated
because as a country,
so many
the U.S., we really
careers.
don't give a shit about talented musicians. I think we kind of like
we spend the most money on the new stuff.
Yes, top 40.
Yeah, and
that's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah. It's
Unfortunately, that's
really unfortunate.
It's the pop machine. It's the monster. It's the pop monster
that we're always yelling about in this podcast.
And we will until the end of the podcast.
Okay. Until we only end up doing pop music for the rest of our.
If it didn't keep coming up, I wouldn't have to keep yelling about it.
So again, thank you everyone in Europe who just gave this guy just that boost he needed. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for Master Ace's return. But we have another track for you. This is track 8, and it is called Every Other Day.
Motherfucker, you're not gonna take mine. Every other day, me see the fake ass lies. But it all day, red eyes on the prize.
Welcome everybody to the rap crucifixion. Every other day, it's like a brand new conviction. Another nigga down cause he just didn't listen. With the same mission, trying to get out this position. Listen, it doesn't matter if you Muslim or Christian. Everybody need a little food in the kitchen. Hindus and Jews.
That fucking opening line, dude, is fucking bonkers good.
Felt so black. I loved it.
Yeah. That's something that it's a sign of a good lyricist if like I'm listening to an album or a song and I hear a line and I have to like press pause and like go back and like listen to it again.
It's like, the fuck did he just say?
But it's like in a good like it's profound,
it's twisting your brain around like what?
Yeah. And I feel like Masta Ace is really like he's really good at that. It's like I feel like a lot of musicians, it's like, oh, if they get that once in their entire career, that's like a huge win. Masta Ace, it's like every album there's like 4 or 5 that are just like, oh, that's like just good writing,
Yeah. And I don't have like context for his earlier stuff, but like I was, I guess, in my mind attributing that to his age too. He's got a little bit more perspective at this time in his career too. Which like I'm a big fan of Run the Jewels, and they're both, they both got together and started doing that like, in their 40s or late 30s or whatever. So I've seen what a well-seasoned like rapper can do. You know what I mean? Like it's like when they're finally like allowed to open the floodgates or whatever, and do what they want to do, and I mean, this one was successful enough to get him, at least some tension for a little while going forward. So, but really just great lyricist, great production. I know it's not all his production, but like he's got whatever he picked, he's got a good ear for.
Team or whoever he's doing is he's killing it.
Yeah, it's clear that he's very much got like I mean, based on like all the stuff that he's done, that he did spend time as a producer and all this other stuff, is like I think that he's somebody that very much has like the director's eye as a rapper of like,
definitely.
Oh, I would, there are some people where it's like clear, like, oh yeah, a team set this up for you. And like, you're kind of the lyricist, but like somebody else is kind of behind the scenes, really producing the thing. Whereas like, I feel like he's somebody that like, oh yeah, he probably picked all these people. Like he probably like knew what he wanted this to be. And even if he didn't like produce the music, it's clear he had like the vision of what he wanted the thing to be.
Yeah. I like
for sure
all the way to the end.
He was a producer first.
Well, and he kept it secret from the other people in the studio at first too. Apparently,
yes.
Like they just let him.
Know that.
They just let him go at it, and then he eventually filled them in.
Because all these tracks again are so thought out. With like, this brings me back again. I'll say this 100 times. We're just like Handsome Boy. Like it's just the production is amazing, but like everything just is there for a reason. There isn't. Like a voice that's not out of place. It's just it's thought out. Like you can see, like he put a lot of time into like how this is going to play out.
Which is why he took it so hard, I think, when record labels were like, no, we're not going to put this out. We can't market this.
I'm so pissed I didn't know about this until today.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I hate myself because of that.
And I don't want to.
I thought this was great. I was listening to it at work, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is one of the better things we've done that I've never heard of."
Well, and I don't want to bring out Ye Who Must Not Be Named, but this is also like a predecessor to the kind of music that Kanye ended up making more popular in rap, I think. But, again, it wasn't its time yet. It was like counterculture to the rap of the time in a way, but like the popular culture wasn't ready for that yet, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You kind of said it.
Ahead of its time, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think it's tough. Like, and it's like, not to talk a ton about Kanye for very obvious reasons. But it's like, yeah. But it's like,
damn it, yay!
I think that
John's had enough.
Probably around when this album came out, like this was definitely a period where like more just like dance hits were more popular in rap music.
Yeah,
it's like stuff like P. Diddy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I think
Mace.
that like. Yeah, Mace. Which, like, I love Welcome Back. Welcome Back is a great song.
Yeah.
The Return of Mace was very fun. The Welcome Back Cotter sample and Welcome Back is great.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think that things were a little bit kind of dancier and a little bit poppier and, like a little bit more like producer based.
Yeah.
Without necessarily like a ton of like, I guess emotion and vulnerability in the tracks. Whereas you had people like, like Black Star, Masta Ace, and, folks like Common that were like kind of holding it down in the underground a little bit. Mm-hmm. And by underground, I mean, these were, albums that charted, but they weren't like number one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that like, that was kind of like Kanye sort of married the
two together,
the lyricism of Masta Ace and folks like Masta Ace.
Yeah.
With sort of the dancey production of.
That's true. That's true.
Like Diddy or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think
it's like you wouldn't have that without people like Masta Ace holding it down for
because
13 years as of 2001,
Yeah, and I think because a couple of these tracks, I was like, dude, this is like way better than it should be right now. Like it's again ahead of its time.
I didn't know what year it was. That's why I knew what year it was. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yeah. Like, this is like spanning like
when did
20 years of music.
Right? It's like this could have come out, like parts of this could have come out in like 1992 or parts of it could have come out in like 2009 and you'd be like, oh yeah,
I was going to say 2010, but
I mean, even some like low end theory vibes throughout this album like time to time. It's like, God,
definitely.
This is really fucking
definitely. Good. Yeah. And this song is the shit talking song. We won't talk too much about it, but he gets
out of respect for Boogeyman.
Yes, out of respect, of course. Yeah. We have this next clip is probably my favorite sketch or skit in the whole album. But here is when he meets his roommate.
So what's your name, Money Grip?
Oh God, Ace, this can't be right.
Cool. So Ace, where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn? Holy cow! I have heard so much about Brooklyn.
Holy
my
cow!
My favorite rap tunes. What's it really like? Is it really like dangerous everywhere? It's nothing like Saskatchewan, I think.
Let's just say it's different.
Got the whitest roommate in the world.
Oh my God!
I'm just having like flashbacks, like Trailer
Park Boys. Like Brooklyn, like he's
that place.
He's like a kid at a candy shop. Like,
oh my God,
the big city.
Well, I like that he was very specific. Where it's like, oh, the roommate was from Saskatchewan, and even it was just like, I don't know. That's like a good. It's like. That was a good rap skit that was like funny.
Like, it was like, legitimately
it's like perfect storytelling. It's like
and especially where the character goes throughout the album, like it's such a great intro,
and just like small production of playing the Odd Couple theme in the background. Low.
Oh, is that what the theme
That's
is?
what it is.
Okay,
it's just like even. I've said this before. I'll probably say it 10 more times, but like even the rap skits were made with care,
Yeah. That is a level of detail that wouldn't exist without a carefully thought out plan, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classy.
That's great. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then we get to Take a Walk.
Yo, they might stop. They got a bulletproof partition, cause niggas draw heat. But the driver got a bigger one up under the seat. See, cats don't really wanna kill, they trying to eat. Yo, ain't it a nice day to take a walk in the street? Let's go.
Blue sky, sunshine, what a day. Let's take a walk in the blue sky.
This is definitely one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the beat is probably
the beat's
maybe my
great.
favorite
It's
beat.
amazing.
Yeah.
Out of respect for Boogeyman, we will not talk about the content of the song, but the beat is great.
The beat.
That is some great beats.
Yeah. And this is their like kind of like a love letter to their neighborhood song. You know, all the neighborhoods in the world. You know what I mean? And kind of, you know, using the like sunshine as a juxtaposition to all the like darker stuff that's happening around them. Like, however, whatever's happening around them, it's still home. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is like there's like a lot of rap albums have like a song, at least a song that is specifically about this, you know. Yeah. Really good track.
But a lot of them aren't this good. Like,
a lot of them aren't. Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
yeah.
That's true. The fucking the samples, man.
I think that's what I appreciate about like Masta Ace, like this album, but like really just Masta Ace as a whole.
Yeah.
Is like, I feel like in baseball terms, every one of his songs isn't a home run, but it's at least like a solid double. You know, like
easy.
Definitely.
And it's just like, it's just cool of even things where it's like, oh, we've heard that in rap music. It's just like, oh, this is the like solid across the plate, great version of that thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all the skits are like RBIs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does RBI mean?
Runs batted in.
Okay.
Yeah. Every beat is
they
like a
connect
delicious
everything.
baseball hot dog.
Exactly.
Now I understand, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another track for you guys. We got Something's Wrong, and here. Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you, dude. Here's Something's Wrong.
I really don't know these niggas. I just did a show with them. Went back to the telly and I hit a couple of hoes with them. Met them at the studio and just spit a couple of flows with them. Bought a bag of dro, sat back and got high with them. Oh yeah, that's good to know. Now you about to die with them. Head straight to the pearly gate, say hi to the big guy with them. Or take it to that other level, down with the devil and fry with him. Grumble and groan, piss and moan, boo-hoo and cry with him. At least go home and tell his mama bye-bye with him. Cause Duke, I'm the hottest nigga on earth.
Fuck. Apocalypse, dude. I don't know who this guy is, but Strickland. Strickland is the guy doing that verse, but he fucking goes hard on that verse. Like, he doesn't need to go that hard. Like,
but he went that hard.
Everything in this album does not need to go that hard, but it does.
Yeah. And he even says at the end of the like badass, because he's saying with them at the end of like each stance, and he manages to keep that like fresh sounding the entire time. And then at the very end, like he even references how good it is and says like, you know, people want to, you know, after hearing this, they like want to stop and rewind the track. Like, so he's you know, he knows how good it is. Like, it's not just good, he knows it. Which is, you know, so those are some of the, I don't know, best verses around, you know. I remember Kendrick used to do that a lot. Like when Kendrick was coming up and wasn't quite like the household name yet, he would always just come in and be the most amazing part of whatever song he guest versed
right
on, you know. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? But
yeah, that was like, I feel like Chance the Rapper was like very similar, where it's like,
yeah,
he was just like my favorite verse on a lot of different songs. And I was just like, oh, I should just listen to Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, maybe he's actually
Chance
good.
the Rapper?
Yeah.
The rapper?
Yeah, Chance, not the board game, the rapper.
Yeah. Does he still make music, or is he just a figure now? I don't. I see him in a lot of stuff, but
he's just a guy who sells hats with a 3 on
the
them.
last I heard, he did a Justin Bieber track.
Those darn 3 hats.
Where he literally says, "Chance the Rapper."
Yeah.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah.
Chance the Rapper's earned doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He seems like he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something's wrong.
I mean, listen, if you look at some of the best rap stars, music stars in general, that's kind of the goal. Just get to a point where you just got enough funds rolling in, and you just every once in a while you just go and guest star on somebody's thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you do a famous one to keep the money rolling in. Sometimes you do a not so famous one.
One for them, one for me.
Yeah,
that's like a Hollywood director thing.
Yeah, it's like the dream is to be like DJ Khaled, where you just like pop up on a track and you say like DJ Khaled, and then you're like, well, this was fun, guys. I'm gonna go back to my house where I have a Foot Locker in my basement. Really, the store Foot Locker. He has one in his house.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I mean,
not a small box. It's called a Foot Locker.
I'd be surprised if he didn't, honestly.
He does. That's a real thing.
Yeah. I believe it wholeheartedly without looking anything up. I know you're telling me the truth. Like
he just goes down and picks whatever shoes he wants to wear that day.
Yeah.
Are they all his size? Or it's like, fuck, 7? How did this get in here?
I guess that's how he wants.
I just wonder, is there somebody where they're like, they have to show up at 10 a.m. every day to work at the Foot Locker and DJ Khaled?
I bet they get a goddamn good salary though. I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You show up every day. You make enough to buy a house, and all you have to do is run this Foot Locker for one guy.
Yeah,
for one guy. But it's like, what if he comes in and like his credit card is declined or something, and you're just like, yes,
you're good. You're good.
You just put yours on and say it's fine.
You just pick whatever shoe you want. You're good.
Yeah.
That's
machine's acting up. We'll figure this out. Just go on your way, so we're good.
You're good.
I feel like this would make a really
you get
good
this pair free.
like Onion article. You know, I feel like this is really fleshed out.
Just go all Watto. I'm saying, your credit's no good here.
No good here.
I got that in.
Jedi tricks don't work on me.
Yeah. But we have another track. Sorry, I don't have any good transitions today. We're rolling right along today from track to track.
22 tracks.
So. Yeah. And we're gonna get through them. This next track is called "The Classes," and here it is.
With paint on your hands all day long. Let's see here. Bronx History at 9:30. Street Promo with Mr. Thompson. A jerk. Rap Cinema. That's a fun class.
What's that about?
Basically, you just watch movies all day. Crush Groove, Wild Style, Beat Street, Easy A.
All right, what's this shit right here? What's this class?
Oh, okay. MPC 101. They gave you that your first.
I wish you could have gotten this whole thing.
Yeah.
This whole thing is great.
Yeah,
this whole
so positive.
I just heard him bringing up the thing about like the movie class. That's easy, and I was like going back to like picking out my senior schedule when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, like I took a history of rock and roll class at university, which has not helped me in my life one bit.
Nope.
But it was easy,
but it was great, and it was an easy A.
I did too, and also history of jazz, and I love both of those.
I literally did
nothing for me, but I loved it.
I literally did a history of movie class.
What I really like about this skit is that like they've given Masta Ace's roommate depth as a character.
Yeah. It wasn't just like a one-off.
Yeah, it's like, well, he was like a one-off who like seemed kind of dorky and like he didn't really know. It's like he was like, it seemed like he was like a bit too enthusiastic about, like rap music in Brooklyn and stuff like that. But then you like establish in this thing that like, oh, he's like actually very educated about this stuff. And he's actually acting as like a guide for Masta Ace.
He knows what's going on.
And Masta Ace laughs at his little joke, so like you can tell Masta Ace is warming up to him.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is like character progression for both of their characters in rap skits.
If you're just dropping Crush Groove, I don't know.
Crush Groove was fun. I liked Crush Groove.
I've not seen this, but I'm curious.
I'll take Breakin' and Breakin' 2.
It's again another fun sketch to tie everything together. Quality skit. Sorry,
top tier,
not sketch. And then we get to this track, Acknowledge.
the boogeyman when I was a youth, scary. Then I found out that he was as fake as a tooth fairy. Since my last mission, this nigga been ass kissing. I took a minute, I gave you a single a fast listen. Tell me this, with no pot to pissin', how you dissing? Your group home's about to be reporting you missing. And now I don't know what was worse, the track or the verse. I'ma get to your producer, but I'm smacking you first. See, I couldn't even find one nigga that heard of you.
Guess we are smacking the boogeyman.
So I suppose we have to talk about it. Yeah.
Sorry, Boogeyman. Boogeyman's probably listening to this.
Yeah, Boogeyman. I apologize in advance, but this is the track most about the beef with Boogeyman. Apparently, they worked together in the past, and then Boogeyman dissed him in a track, and then Masta Ace was very hurt by this.
Yeah, I think that the story is that Boogeyman released a track, and then a few months later, Masta Ace released a track that was like similar in title and sound to Boogeyman's track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Boogeyman thought that Masta Ace, kind of like just stole his track or whatever, and like released this track about Masta Ace about that. And this track, I think it's like calling out Boogeyman, but it's also about like, no, this is just, it's like, we just happen to be working on two similar songs at the same time. It happens, and it's so it's like, even in his call out, it's like, it was clear there was like a reason behind this diss track, other than just you suck,
Yeah.
And he was trying to crush the beef in like an effective way in this track.
Yeah. Who knows what happened with them after this, you know what I mean? Sometimes beef is crushed and they move past it and are friends again or something, but at this point they're definitely not. There's like one of a couple times that he mentions it, and I guess they did have a rap battle like months before this came out or something, or before it was finished, so there was an actual like rap battle that there's apparently videos of on the internet.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it yet, but maybe I should watch that before doing this podcast episode.
But that was not on the Disposable Arts album.
No. It was not on this 24-track album.
Bonus track.
So, yeah. That'll be a bonus track I throw on YouTube. Other than that, this song is also about just kind of, acknowledging his success and how much respect he should have. Like, he's asking for that acknowledgement from the rap industry or the audience in general. Yeah. He wants them to give him his due. Then we get to this track, Enough. I can't remember if this is a sketch or a song. Okay.
Must ain't soul enough, cause my heart ain't cold enough. Said I was born to roll, they said I ain't roll enough. Guess I gotta brag more, must don't boast enough. Ain't New York enough, ain't West Coast enough. But that's fine, cause I'ma focus on mine. I'm hoping that 2009 is enough time. Wrote enough rhymes to be on album number 50. And you see how I'm on it, if you hung enough with me. The rap game's a book.
It just must really be rough for anybody in any industry to be like that person that deserves the recognition, gets the recognition from the
and gets a Foot Locker in your house,
and then it's like, but
Master Ace deserves his own Foot Locker,
and then it's like, and then it's like they don't get it, I never heard of Masta Ace until we did this, and it's like, it's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it was one of those things where I think a lot of stuff just maybe got lost in the shuffle of the 2000s, in the shuffle of people trying to monetize rap in a big way.
I feel like that goes the same with pretty much any genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you not heard about X? While you're listening, if you're in a fan of this, how have you not listened?
And this album is also a tough case where the record label that released this shut down a month after the album came out.
Well, yeah, it was partially made for the this and one previous compilation album I think they made on that label. But yeah, it was essentially they had to make a new label just to get it out.
Yeah, well, it was what happened is this album came out and then the record label shut down a month later, and then it was just out of print because the label shut down for like a long time.
Yeah, and that's what the label. The label is the one that does that.
Yeah, like Masta in the mid 2000s, like kind of got the rights to the album back and kind of like I think self-released it or released it with a different label or something like that. But that like took time and and that's just that sort of thing of like it's like lost your momentum, and it's also like I don't know, like marketing and PR are things that like play such a big part of how like of anything in media being successful.
That's capitalism.
Well, it's just like people got to know about it, and it's like it's like if your record label is in a position where they shut down a month after your album comes out, that probably means they weren't organized enough to have like a good PR campaign behind this album.
PR is very important if you're making a just creative piece,
and again,
you want to
too,
keep doing creative things.
Well, again, too, it's like we've heard of albums or not albums, but like labels that have shot to #1 because of a good album.
If
you can get your shit together, however that happens. That's all it takes, and then you have the money to do other things, and then all of a sudden you're a label, and it's just a whole bunch of things.
It's just kind of like unfortunate that, and it's unfortunate that just making a good piece of art is like not good enough. It's like you need to make a good piece of art, and you need to like package it in such a way that people hear about it, and reviews are written about it, and articles are made about it. And like, I think it's just kind of like the reality of like art and commerce. But like, I don't know, something that's like, and this is a maybe a spoiler for like a later track conversation. But like, I think that Masta Ace is a person who like has kind of unfortunately been the victim of some of those just kind of like unfortunate, weird, like, a label shutting down or like somebody getting fired who was championing him at the right time or whatever kind of things that just like cause you to kind of fall through the cracks. But it's like he is somebody that, like though a lot of his contemporaries, I think, have like, either retired because this guy started in 1988. So he's been doing it for, like years and years and years. But he's like, I don't know. It's like he did a Tiny Desk NPR concert series last year.
Yeah, I saw that.
And those are like, like thousands and thousands of people try to get that slot. So he's still a guy that's like, and it's like, if you listen to it, it's great. It's like amazing that this like rapper from 1988 is like doing this like high level Tiny Desk concert where he's just knocking it out of the park. And it's like, still as good as he ever was, still killing it. I don't know. So it's like, there's like a good, though he's like frustrated during this album of not getting his due. I feel like he's like, like getting his due in cool ways now,
Yeah. In the respect, he's kind of he's being acknowledged, like he asked for. Yeah. But yeah, this speaking of the rap game, this is the transition from watching the game into unfriendly game.
This shit is alright so far, man. I mean, my roommate is a little shaky, man. But other than that, it's pretty decent. I got my first exam tomorrow in Bronx history. I got to read these chapters tonight on Flash and Bambaataa, but so far it's cool. Joe, man, let me hit you back because I'm missing the game, nigga. All right, yo. One.
I'm about to take this beat and teach you about the agony of defeat and this football game in the street. And no, it ain't two-hand touch, just rough tackle. When niggas ball on your block and they bust at you. The field's full of players and they all trying to score. The whole team sits on the bench in the downpour. Cause no matter the weather, the game don't stop. Competing with other teams.
What a college phone call.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
what a good transition into just like a great, I don't know, it's like that interlude is great, and that beat is sick, and that song is good.
Just solid and great, like song, kind of comparing the I think it's the rap game into like to football, or
he's got a really good diss against the XFL, I think, in that song.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like XFL. What is that?
That was Vince McMahon's football league in 2001.
Yeah. That was one line that dated it a little bit.
It dated it, but also the XFL came back in 2020, and it's going to come back this year. Like The Rock owns the XFL now. Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson bought the XFL, so it's like,
okay,
you know, did it come back in 2001? Did it come back in 2020?
Cool.
I appreciate that because as a joke, in 2021 or 2001, went out to Vegas for my birthday, my 21st birthday. My friend Nick, I remember seeing like banners, everything. Like it was just the biggest thing in Vegas at that time was the XFL. You can turn your head and not see a fucking a neon sign.
Yeah.
For XFL.
Did you go to an XFL game? Because if so, I have a lot of questions.
No, I did not. I just witnessed.
Man.
I know. I'm like, this is gonna be around forever, right?
Yeah. This is
not
gonna catch
going
on.
anywhere.
This is definitely gonna catch on.
You could have seen He Hate Me play live.
He hate me.
It was an XFL player.
Oh, man, he hate me. Was this like WWE? Like,
man, my three
that was honestly. I'm a big wrestling fan. That was honestly something of Vince McMahon trying to push people to get wrestlers or football players to have wrestling gimmicks.
Yes,
that's actually. You know what? I'm back on board. I'm back on board with this XFL thing. Honestly,
my
this sounds like
biggest regrets of my
idea.
life. One was not going to an XFL game in 2001.
Yeah, that's also Vegas. 2 through 5 too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Regrets.
This is my entire life. I just when I hear XFL, I just cry in a corner.
You're not going to be able to relate to the last track on this. No regrets. So that's too bad.
No regrets.
But this next track we have actually brings the plot forward a little bit. This is like one of the few exposition dumps that comes in a song, because a lot of the exposition happens in the skits, but they're actually talking about what was it? His girlfriend's ex-boyfriend is taking back the car through carjacking, basically, in this song. TLDR. Here is Alphabet Soup.
Let's sing and learn about the letters of the alphabet.
Hey son, how you be? Hey yo, I'm chillin'. And I see you D to go out and make a killing, but where E? F that nigga, he making G's on tour with H-Town, doing shows overseas. Yeah, I heard he DJ, but yo, stop hating, okay? Smoke your L and chill the fuck out. I found a way to get paid. You know how I am, we gonna be in, cause my cousin Tyreek said to meet him about 10.
Yeah. Also, the cooler part of the song is that they use all the letters of the alphabet throughout the rap, which is just cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like Masta Aces, I think that he did a really good job of marrying like folks like Rakim, who were just like sort of straight, like kind of lyrical wizardry. And I put like folks like Twista, like, kind of in that area too, of just like he raps the fastest of everyone. And like, I think that Masta Ace did a really good job of like marrying that level of just like technical rap proficiency with like, hey, I wonder if I could do every single letter in a rap, you know?
Yeah. It's something that not a lot of rappers take
or try to do.
Yeah, they don't. Not all rappers like take rap and like make a game out of it like that. You know, like who am I thinking of?
Yeah, it's like
A$AP Rock.
Like,
A$AP Rock does that sometimes. He'll make a theme.
Like Blackalicious does that sometimes.
Yeah. I always appreciate it when it happens, no matter what rapper does it. Like if you can tell, they're like not only rapping well, but they're also like putting like rules on that, like for no reason. It's just like, oh, dude.
It's just seeing somebody like hit like a really good trick shot, and you're just like, oh wow, that's like it's like you that's just like the finesse of that is cool.
Yeah, you actually care about this. Like this isn't just like a pastime for you. This is something that you deeply care about. Yeah. Which is, one of the notes I have for this album in general is like, you can tell that he loves rap. Like he absolutely
the amount of shout outs,
the art of rap.
Like even in just the commercial skit, it's like, he's just shouting out like Africa Bambaataa and people like that. And it's like, this guy loves rap music.
Yeah. And then, we get on to this next track, track 18, Dear Yvette, which, I feel like this song and track 18 and 19, you're about to hear kind of go together thematically. So here's Dear Yvette.
This chick got hopes and dreams, but I'm about this paper 'cause there ain't no love for free. Yeah.
I never been the type of bitch, maybe when I was younger. I craved love and thought it could satisfy my hunger. Thirsty, had a few niggas do me dirty. Slid a blade across my wrist, almost went 730. I spaz. Now it's all about the cash. Swinging naked on a pole, doing tricks with my...
Yeah. It's Dear Yvette. Starts off with a kind of narrative from Ace about seeing this girl on the street and like saying like, oh, I remember when I remember when you used to be young and innocent. We used to play and hang out, giving your kind of typical perspective on that you've heard in rap songs. And then it gets to Yvette's perspective. She kind of responds to that kind of criticism that he's giving, like, oh, this is an awful lifestyle. And instead is like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm out here trying to pay, support my children. Like, you don't know the first thing about what I'm going through, is what kind of her response is to
like the back and forth.
Yeah. To Ace's verse. Oh, please stop. Okay. It stopped. Thank God. Last time it didn't stop for like 30 seconds. I was like,
you know who I think is causing that? Boogeyman.
It's Boogie. Yeah, he doesn't want us. He doesn't want us talking about this.
He's sabotaging us.
Yeah,
he's sabotaging. He's just like, too many people are talking good about Masta Ace. I can't have that.
I can't have this. His legacy must die. But this is just a really fun track, though. If you want just a good back and forth story, which is always fun in a rap track, and then after kind of his kind of verse in here where he's saying, kind of they're not like misogynistic per se, but they're like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it, but it's, I don't know, just belittling in a way, like, of not understanding that they know the experience they're going through. And then the next track, after kind of talking shit about that lifestyle, he fully indulges in getting laid, all sorts of laid in this song. I like that.
Saying though, like, right after the show's over, the tour bus.
Little
sidebar,
little preamble for this one. This is like the cleanest part of the song I could find. Just know that before you hear it.
Saying though, like, right after the show's over, the tour bus is outside. Matter of fact, this club got a bathroom and a basement. Wherever, however, I will be delighted to fuck you outside, vocal booth, train, plane, automobile, or even in the lunchroom. Once the period in your private area dries, we can fuck on your kitchen counter like American Pie. Where I had to keep the sperm muzzle.
That was the cleanest 15 seconds.
So keep in mind that is the cleanest 15 seconds I could find.
It was wholesome.
I'm gonna say I agree with you, Ace, because I love this song. Like, this is one of my favorites on the thing.
It's very over the top.
It's just there's just every like, it's swear to God, hey, you made it through a whole 15 seconds. Yeah, because it's like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But I also do want to say that this very much sounded like who do you like to cover? Who do we?
Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
It does have some Run the Jewels production stuff going on. Yeah,
some the robot chick or the Adult Swim stuff that they did. This very similar.
Yeah,
pre-Run the Jewels.
The production's great, but man, these lyrics are canceled as hell.
Yeah.
Just a lot of just.
And then I love that it was called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No. Except this is actually not Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but he references the following track, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I mean, there's something that I really appreciate about a song that's like that raw. That like I think that sometimes not just like rap music, but all music. If there's a song that's like, I don't know, just about fucking, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, hey, this song is real dirty, but they don't like try to make it a good song. Whereas this is just a great, this is just like a great
song.
It's like it's about that, but it's also a great song. It reminds me of, I forget the name of it, but there's a song on Fish Scale by Ghostface Killah that's about sucking on toes or something. It's just like, I forget the name of it, but it's just like the beat of it is just like delightful.
That is like a flex of some sort in music. When you make something that is like just like utterly depraved lyrically, but then make it the most dancey or most poppy or most just, best sounding track. That is like a trick in itself.
Yeah, it's like Masta is just like he's just like a master of his craft. He like knows what the fuck he's doing.
Definitely.
And for 6 months, toe sucking was topping the charts.
yeah, it shot up in the Google search results.
Good
no
God.
one knew why.
Like 2000 to
Thanks,
2005.
Yeah.
So many
keeping the dream alive.
Keeping the dream alive.
Right.
This they mention it in the clip that we picked here. And this is PTA, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, track 20.
Yet. I want to buy it and rent each room out for a grand like the Hyatt. I want my own football team and stadium. Hey, fuck platinum. I want to go uranium.
I had dreams of fucking an R&B slut. Plus, I'm trying to be the first in a Bentley truck on 24 inches of chrome. Tight shit. 8 TVs and a satellite dish. Play a hater waiter cause a nigga might switch.
So this one's a little interesting because the sample is just playing parentheses Dreams by Biggie Smalls, and the guy they got on that verse, King T, has a real Biggie Smalls kind of delivery as well.
Oh, bigger hit you.
Did you guys not feel like have to check if that was Biggie Smalls?
I did not.
I did not. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, is this a lost verse of Biggie's? But I don't know. He has a really similar, like, low voice and timbre to Biggie, and I think that's intentional since it's a Biggie sample.
Okay, so I'm gonna say my one negative thing that I'm probably gonna say on this podcast is this is probably my least favorite song of the album.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's
just didn't grip you.
Yeah, it just didn't grip me. I feel like this is the one that I'm just like, I could probably skip that. Like the chorus is like it's all if every Masta Ace song is at the very least a double. This is the one that's like a single.
Yeah, and it is
a single in terms of like we got one person on bass. You maybe could have had the album be a little
to your previous
allegory. It's like a double if you got two people on bass. This is like you maybe got one person on bass.
Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, it's an hour 20 album by the way.
And it's like it could have been an hour 15 without this song.
Yeah. That was like my one complaint about the Eminem album we covered recently. It was just you could have cut off like 30 seconds off a lot of those tracks. But this album mostly they earn it. But I think I have one little spot that I thought was less than perfect, but if that's what you're looking at in an album, then it's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, but it's tough because if you think about it, if clearly Masta Ace looked at this album like a movie, and for album length, it's like a little bit on the long side of things, but it doesn't. But it feels like I don't know, an hour 20 is like a movie, that's like a movie length. Yeah. So it's I appreciate that some level of care probably went into the length of it.
That's true. It's intentional for this for sure.
It reminds me of a quote. I can't remember what critic said this about even the band the Pixies, but the worst song or album by the Pixies is still better than the worst song or album by any other band. No matter how bad you think that song or track is or album, it's still better than most stuff that other bands put out. So I feel like this is that same track or that. No matter how does it fit? No, but it's still better than a lot of other probably tracks that and around the same time frame that this would have been encompassed.
Yeah.
See, I saw it was called PTA, and I didn't know where he was going to go with it, and then he went with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh yeah. You think Parent-Teacher Association, right?
See, as a
He's
guy,
a big John Candy fan, really.
I am a big John Candy fan.
So is Master Ace.
Master Ace.
Really?
I think that.
I would love to someone that is a Master Ace fan. Please confirm. Tell me I'm wrong or tell me I'm right.
1608 hit nerd.
Because I would love to know if he's actually watched this movie, just to know if he got the idea.
Oh, guaranteed.
I don't know.
That would honestly change everything and make this my favorite song of the album. If he's just this is specifically about the scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles
this is
where Steve Martin realizes John Candy's lonely.
Yes.
And just be okay, the song rules.
It's this little joke, little nugget of joke to himself, Yeah, we have another track here. We have 4 more left for you guys. This next track is Type I Hate. And this is getting back into that diss territory that he's gone into a couple times. Just laying out the kind of people that he's not into.
Type to put all your business in the street. That's why I only got a handful of peeps. Closely analyze all the new ones I meet. 2001, bitches, I ain't too beat.
There you have it. Just a few examples. And if you can't relate to this shit right here, chances are you the type of motherfuckers we talking about.
Just giving the break if you didn't know.
Yeah. That's why I had to go.
Yeah. So that was Type I Hate. Including. That's one thing I wanted to mention. There's a lot of women in this album. A lot of women rappers.
Shout out to Jean Grey. Jean Grey, always great whenever she's on a track.
Jane Doe. This has got Rod Digga and Lashia for the hook. I thought that was pretty cool and interesting for the time period, especially right now we're in kind of a golden age of women rappers and stuff, but they were a little more underground, I think, at the
2001.
Yeah. There's a lot less faces to look at for that,
for sure.
Awesome that he's got such great representation in this album.
Again, another part that was probably very thought out. He picked everyone for these tracks and songs.
Everyone's where they should be. Everyone is in the song and in the style, and everything fits pretty well. But you heard a little bit of it. We're gonna get right into the next track, "Dear Diary," and you've probably heard. You're out there. You've probably heard this sample on something, I would think, but this is the first hip hop song to sample this for hip hop. Here's "Dear Diary."
Dear Diary, what a day it's been. I hope you ain't releasing another album. Let me ask you something.
Hey yo Ace, don't tell me you thinking about a return. I'm kinda concerned, when will you old cats ever learn? It's time to hang it up when you stand on your last leg. When you don't write on the reg and your future is past dead. I'ma tell you, cause none of these cats will. You can't still try to...
Wait, so he sampled it or somebody else have sampled it?
Oh, this has been sampled in other hip hop songs, not just hip hop, but this has been sampled in other music. You've heard it before, right?
I'm trying to think of it.
This shows up every now and again, this track.
Yeah.
But I know we've talked about this a lot about other aspects of the album, but just the sample choices in this album are so great. It's it's just clear Masta and the people he works with aren't just fans of rap, they're fans of music, and it's they're not that rap is music, you know what I'm talking about. They're fans of music outside of rap music.
It reminds me of if you take you go back, in 2001. Go back to even the Chronic when Dr. Dre, there's so much, it wasn't rap, it was just great music, all the samples that he had on that album. It just, it's that flashback where it's just great beats throughout this album.
Well, I think that's one of the things that's, not to sound old, but I think that's one of the things missing, I think, from rap, I guess at least underground rap today is people don't have as much access to samples as much as they used to. It costs a lot more money these days than it used to have these awesome samples in some of your tracks.
That's something I think is really cool about this album, though, is the sample wars in rap music, I think, happened in, I want to say 1993, 1994, specifically Biz Markie. He kind of ruined it for everybody because he had a song where he literally used the entire chorus from a popular song as the chorus for his rap song, literally using the recording of it. And it's that was the point where it was okay, maybe it's transformative here and there, but this is a thing where we need to make a law that you can't without
draw a line
or
somewhere.
Paying. So Biz Markie in the early 90s was the reason for that line.
This Thanks, Biz Markie.
So,
R.I.P.
Biz Markie, R.I.P. Biz Markie's great, but but it's this is, he had to clear all these samples, it's the problems that exist today in getting samples in rap music were the exact problems that Masta ran into in 2020 or 2001 when we made this album, you know?
Well, yeah, I just feel like it's just such a, I don't know, some people like don't want to resort to getting samples because of the price, I think sometimes.
Yeah, that's what it's coming.
It's just, I don't know, it's
just
more.
Like, it just clearances takes forever.
That's also true. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think people should use indie bands for samples because there's plenty of great indie bands that would probably love to be sampled.
I mean, it wouldn't take much to find a really just a good hook or beat or drum or something
That's what I'm saying.
Just put in there.
It's a lot of stuff that's just on the table right now, sample wise.
They're probably like $100 sold. Take it, use it.
Yeah. Throw King Gizzard on track.
You'll give me a special thanks in your liner notes. You know,
holy shit. That's so cool.
You come to town, a couple tickets. How about that?
Yeah.
You give me free tickets to your concert if you tour near me? Wow, you know.
Dude, you can have every song.
Yeah.
Go nuts. Here's the catalog.
I believe this song, though, it features the Moody Blues song, Dear Diary. And I believe this is another reference to, this last kind of reference to Boogeyman. I think this is from the perspective of Boogeyman, maybe.
Wow, Masta was really beat up about that Boogeyman thing.
Yeah, they must have been
lots of things
real
to
close
say
or something. I don't know. He was really, really bummed about how it went down.
Does Boogeyman have lots of tracks like this? Like
I don't know. Maybe there's
against Master Race. Like,
as far as I know, there's just the one, but maybe I don't know. Who knows? I'll have to go into Boogeyman's discography.
Does he have a concept album we can go into?
We'll have to, maybe we'll have to do an episode where we fully cover the beef and get Boogeyman's side of this story.
Both sides of the beef.
Cover the beef. See if you can get both of them on the podcast to crush the beef.
Crush the beef. Oh my god!
Because it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years, guys. We need to know this that you're okay.
Man, Brad's beef crushers.
It has been 20 years. Damn.
It's 2022.
Brad's beef crushers. I like that. But we got one more skit and then one last track before we get out of here. This last skit of the album is Last Rites, featuring one of our favorite characters in this album, MC Barman. I don't know if we've ever actually mentioned.
Or MC Barman.
MC Barman?
Oh, never mind.
Is that the same person, maybe?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know. But here's his last appearance on this, Last Rites.
He went back to Brooklyn and made a better life for himself. He started his own label and artist management company a year later. Eventually, he moved out of the projects and bought a small, modest house in a quiet section of Brooklyn. A month after he went away, his ex-girlfriend Lisa became pregnant for the third time, this time by a Bala from New Jersey. She still lives in the PJs with her 3 kids, and she occasionally does hair.
That sounds like MC Paul Barman. He has a lot of. God, it was like mid 2000 when I heard his albums, but he was on Deltron. He had a guest spot on one of the tracks.
Oh, right.
I remember that episode because I still remember one of my favorite lines from one of his actual tracks was when she took off her top, her bra was made of 2 yarmulkes. I said it was hella great, or I think that was exactly what just killed me.
He really, really like steals the show in this album. I think.
Yeah,
he's so
voice
fun.
is very familiar. I'm like, no, that's MC Paul Barman.
And he's come full circle in this album. He went from being a weird roommate, which everyone's skeptical of, to like kind of a friend, to like apparently the one telling Ace's story.
The prologue. As it's called.
Yeah.
Epilogue. Sorry.
Yeah, he gets the end credits wrap up VO.
I would like to say too.
It's like, who would have thought?
In the first track, one of the old men that comes in, they always return. He bought a house in Brooklyn. He came back.
Oh yeah,
remember?
I guess
that's one of my favorite parts of the first one of the first skits.
Irish Cop was right.
He said, he always comes back.
The Irish are always right, eh?
yeah, of course. That's a good note, John. We have and obviously he has no regrets because this next track is called No Regrets. Here we go. Here's No Regrets.
That ever been, never spin in heavy rotation, never again. If I don't do a song to incite millions or get a video done by Hype Williams, if it's never a chance again to be seen on the pages inside of another magazine, if the luxuries in life I can't of course afford, if I never win a Billboard or a Source Award, I wouldn't want your pity or your sympathy, even if Marley never put me on the symphony.
This really
in heavy rotation.
Oh no, let's listen to it one more time. Just kidding.
No, this really just brings me back to the Adult Swim album we did. That is straight off of like one of the tracks like that he's
like some Danger Mouse kind of production.
Yeah. I gotta say, this song was honestly like the reason that I chose this album. It's like it's a really great album, but like this song is, I would say, I'm not saying it's one of the best rap songs of all time, but it's to me one of my favorite rap songs of all time.
Okay.
It's just like everything from the performance of it, like there's just a level, and like this is, once again, 2006 Joey. Probably haven't seen a lot of like indie concerts, seeing this like just like master of his craft performing this song. And then he does this just like kind of vulnerable track about like the state of his career and life and how he's like not really as successful as he thought he would be, but he's also accomplished a lot of really cool stuff. Like seeing this as, somebody in my like early 20s at the time was just such a like, I think eye-opening thing to me about like sort of the life of a creative. And I think that this is something that like, I saw this first time I ever heard this song was live 2006. Wow. And like, I go back and like listen to it pretty regularly as just sort of a like, oh yeah, that kind of like, that's just like what my life is as somebody working in the entertainment industry. I'm like a, guy who writes jokes for a living or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm not like a rapper, but it's like, oh, I completely like the older that I get, the more that I relate to the emotions of this song. And I think that it just speaks to like sort of what I like about Masta Ace and what I think is so cool about, something we've talked about a little bit over the past, hour talking about it, is that like, he's a guy that was kind of like uncompromising in what he wanted. Like he could have done, dancier stuff in the early 2000s. He could have changed up his style. He clearly has the ability, but he like didn't really want to do anything other than like the art that he didn't want to make art that was not the art that he wanted to make. And this is him kind of like acknowledging, I don't want to say like, it's sort of like the positives and negatives of that. It's like, I'm a big fan of, like very bombastic rap, like, Run DMC and stuff like that, where every song is about how they're the coolest people ever. And they kind of are.
Yeah. That's
but
it.
Like, great Adidas shell toe shoes. Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like, I feel like most rap, at least for a time, most rap was basically about just like talking about how you're the coolest people ever and you're great and stuff like that.
Kayfabe.
And like kayfabe. And like something like this, that's just like, it feels like it's just like honest in a way that like I appreciate thematically, musically. The sample is great. I go back and listen to The Edge by David Axelrod a lot because of this song.
Yeah.
But it's also just like, I think that it's kind of such a good through line of him as an artist is like, if nothing else, be honest in your work. And like, I don't know. It's just as like a piece of art and craft. This is probably one of my favorite rap songs ever. Not saying it's the best. Not saying it's like the top of my list, but it's like, if I were to rattle off 20 to 30 of my favorite rap songs ever, this would be on that list.
Right.
Yeah. I think, this album for sure is, on my list of great rap albums automatically, one
of the things I love about this podcast.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those little gems. Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing this one to our attention, by the way. I know it was on our list or whatever, but like, thank you for choosing it and bringing it to our attention, because this is an amazing rap album. Before we get out of here though, Joey, you want to, do you have any plugs that you want to give us before you get out? Like what are you working on right now?
I'm the host of the Boogie Cast, where me and rapper Boogeyman talk about. Just kidding.
Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Oh crap! Connection. You can get us on the show and get Mr. Ace.
He just gets into the frame right next to Joey. He's wanting here to talk to you right now.
And he's got some things to say about what you guys said. No, so I got a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm a writer, consulting producer on Spirit Rangers on Netflix, which is a really cool kids show that Came out on October 10th, Indigenous Peoples Day. You should all check it out. It's super dope.
Really excellent. I watched some episodes, and just quick, the homage to the Power Rangers theme when they transform, because it has the Let's Go Spirit Rangers. We had Ron Wasserman, who wrote the Power Rangers theme, on the show, and he said that one of the keys to the theme song was including the word "go." So I want to congratulate you guys over there for keeping that spirit alive.
That was a really great. That was written by.
And you know why? Because he did Go Go Gadget.
Go Go Gadget,
and that was
it
like
was in
one
the
of the
Transformers.
That's a show I grew up on. So
Yeah. Go was part of it. What were you gonna say, Joey?
That song was written by Ray Zaragoza and Diamond Kuman, who are amazing musicians.
Yeah,
and I never really thought about that, but like that is a key element to the Power Rangers song that the Spirit Rangers song also has. And
listen, every iteration of Power Rangers song that has come after has some form of Go Power Rangers.
Well, this isn't associated with Power Rangers.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No.
It's just very much the vibe of the show.
They just want people to go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just,
don't stay. It doesn't say stay Power Rangers.
Go.
No. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Although they do want you to stay at their park maybe sometime. Check it out.
It's a nice park.
It's a nice park. Yeah.
Go and stay with us.
Yeah. Go stay.
Now I'm confused. What does the song want from me?
Stop. Go. I don't know.
So Spirit Rangers, that came out on Netflix October 10th. Super proud of it. Everybody check it out. I have a new digital series that just premiered on Comedy Central's digital platforms last month called Gone Native.
Okay.
It's different animated shorts about weird microaggressions Native folks deal with.
Yeah.
We've got, not sure when this podcast is going to drop, but the next episode comes out on Friday, December 16th, which I'm really excited about. The name of that one is Every Time You Say That Something Is Your Spirit Animal, You Have to Give Every Native American Person you know $25.
Very nice.
And I think I might just post a link to my Venmo with the link.
You guys are going to be filthy rich.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to just get so much money. And we've got another short coming out in January with the Gone Native series on Comedy Central social channels. I'm really excited about.
Okay.
And then I have a short film, My First Native American Boyfriend, which I wrote and directed, which you can see on my socials. I'm sure by the time that you listen to this podcast, it'll be on my socials. So check that stuff out. And you can follow me on most of the socials, I believe TikTok and Twitter at Joeytainment. And you can follow me on Instagram at Joey Clift with like 5 or 6 eyes. Because a 12-year-old took Joey Clift with one eye, and I just got to deal with it.
What are you going to do?
And I don't know, if Twitter's not around, you can maybe find me on Mastodon. Just kidding. Mastodon sucks.
I kept on hearing that being thrown around, but I never actually got a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I created a Mastodon account and then immediately gave up because I'm like, this is difficult.
Well, hey, you have it. You have it if the mass exodus needs to happen. So
yeah.
I think that's why most people made one.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. We're gonna forgo our plugs today and let them get out of here. Thank you everybody for listening to the Album Concept Hour, and we will see you all next week for another concept album. The Album Concept Hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, John Aker, and Jake the Snake Foster. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Join the discussion on our Discord, tweet to us at Album Concept Pod, or for everything else, go to Linktree/Flyover State Park. See you on Side B. This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.